Welcome back to Throttle Tribe. Most motorcycle manufacturers prioritize a balance of strength, speed, and reliability. But sometimes design takes priority over practicality, leading to bikes that look flashy but fail miserably in performance. Worse yet, some riders fall for the hype, only to regret their purchase once the excitement wears off. In this video, we're counting down 7 motorcycles that looked amazing, but turned out to be total disappointments. Let's dive in. Number 7, Honda DN01. What I'll call a wannabe wisdom. It got the attention of the public for its futuristic design, but it also threw off a lot of people due to its vague identity. One reviewer asked, is it a scooter, is it a cruiser, or is it a Sunday's bike? That's how confusing the bike was. Its looks were one thing, but its specs and price were another. The Honda DN01 first made a public appearance at the 2005 Tokyo Motor Show. It received relative appraisal and interest, so the team pushed it to market in 2008. The hype was buzzing and sales were expected to rise, but they didn't. Honda had good intentions. They wanted to create something futuristic, bridging the gap between a scooter and a sport cruiser. But what they ended up making was a two-wheeled existential crisis. The uncertain bike had a 680cc liquid-cooled V-twin engine that produced 61 horsepower with a top speed of 100 miles per hour fine, but not groundbreaking. It weighed 595 pounds, and riders complained about hesitation at low speeds and unpredictable steering. That weight, combined with the automatic hydraulic mechanical continuously variable transmission, CVT, made riding it about as exciting as driving a rental car with a flat tire. Eventually its reign ended in 2010, and riders were relieved. Honda marketed it as an automatic sports cruiser, jacking up the price to $14,600 in the US. Today it sells for a meager $6,000 at auctions. Number 6, Harley-Davidson Street 500. Harley-Davidson has built a reputation for making big, loud, and powerful cruisers. But this bike did not pass the vibe check at all. In 2014, the public was introduced to the Street 500. To die-hard Harley-Davidson fans, it wasn't a surprise the team announced the launch of the Street Series in 2013 at the EICMA show. Many were looking forward to it, while others quickly turned away. Like many manufacturers at the time, Harley-Davidson was trying to reposition itself for the future. Lightweight bikes were trending, and the Street Series was their attempt to tap into that market. The Street 500 featured a 494cc liquid-cooled Revolution XV twin engine, producing 47 horsepower and a top speed of 120 miles per hour, making it the least favorite of Harley-Davidson's lineup. Some critics said it was barely more powerful than a lawnmower with a bad attitude. It was tagged as an entry-level bike for newbies, but even beginners found it frustrating. The brand's signature deep growl was missing, and the single-disc brakes felt subpar. Some critics also speculated that production was outsourced to India, making it feel like an off-brand Harley with a Harley badge slapped on. It launched at $6,600, but its value dropped significantly. At auctions, well-maintained Street 500S may sell for $6,000, while lower-quality ones go for as little as $3,000. Number 5, BMW C1. Trust me, if you think wearing ill-fitting sunglasses is ridiculous, wait until you see this. In 2000, BMW actually released a motorcycle with a roof, the BMW C1, also known as the family friend. Honestly, it sounded exciting. Helmets are necessary but can be uncomfortable, so the promise of riding without one while staying protected from sun, debris, and rain was intriguing. However, the execution flopped hard. The C1 became a tiny car that couldn't lean properly. BMW designed the C1 to appeal to car drivers in crowded cities, featuring a 176cc single-cylinder engine that produced 18 horsepower with a top speed of 65 miles per hour. Even a rundown Mazda could outrun it. Worse yet, it weighed 485 pounds. Making it too heavy to maneuver. People who purchased it claimed it underperformed in every way. Motorcycles are supposed to give you thrill and confidence, but this one dampened everything. Even though 12,000 units were sold, BMW was not impressed, and they pulled the plug in 2002. At launch, the C1 was priced at $5,000, affordable but absurd. Today, well-maintained models range from $2,000 to $10,000, depending on the buyer's knowledge, or lack thereof. Number 4, Norton Nemesis 1998. The Norton Nemesis of 1998 almost lived up to its name. It didn't necessarily bring down the company, but it certainly failed as an attempted comeback. It is popularly known as the superbike that never was. This prototype motorcycle promised a revolution in performance, and many fans eagerly anticipated its launch. However, that day never came. Norton, a company that had already faced multiple acquisition struggles after World War II, was attempting to reinvent itself when it came up with the blueprint for the Nemesis. The bike itself was an ambitious feat of engineering, a 300-horsepower V8 superbike with a 1500 cc displacement and a top speed of over 200 miles per hour, or 322 kilometers per hour. On paper, it sounded like a dream machine, but in reality, it was far from practical. The Nemesis weighed around 500 pounds, making it difficult to handle, and despite its futuristic and aggressive design, it looked more like something suited for a sci-fi movie than real-world use. Production never took off. The exact number of units built remains uncertain, but only a handful of prototypes were made before Norton ran into financial difficulties once again, ultimately burying the Nemesis project in history. If it had been mass-produced, the estimated price would have been around $60,000, a staggering figure for a bike that was considered impractical. At that price, you might as well toss your money into the Atlantic Ocean. Number 3, Boss Haus V8 from the 1990s. The 1990 Boss Haus V8 proves my point. It's what you can call a sluggish beast. If you're not careful, you might be dazzled by its impressive specifications and end up buying it, only to regret your decision later. To be honest, this bike is an embarrassing purchase. The so-called Beast is equipped with a monstrous 6.2-liter V8 engine, producing over 445 horsepower and a jaw-dropping 445 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it can hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Thrilling, right? However, reality tells a different story. The bike weighs 1,100 pounds, which is nearly the weight of a freight train. With that much bulk, achieving high speeds isn't as effortless as it seems. Even if it does manage to pick up speed, stopping it is a whole new problem. For such an outrageously powerful machine, it comes with only a single-disc rear brake and a small front disc brake. That means every time you need to stop, you'll find yourself doing complex mental calculations before clamping down on the brakes that, frankly, are nearly useless in an emergency. To make matters worse, this heavy-duty bike guzzles fuel at an alarming rate. Expect to make 3 stops at a gas station before completing a 100-mile journey. It might be perfect for cruisers and posers, but for practical riders, it's a nightmare. And if that wasn't bad enough, it comes with a ridiculous price tag of $79,000, an insane amount for something this impractical. Number 2, Yamaha Niken from 2018, or should I say, the tricycle bike? Instead of the usual 2 wheels, the Niken features an extra front wheel. Apparently Yamaha thought this would improve stability and cornering ability. Well, let's just say that plan didn't work out. Released in 2018, the Niken sported an 847cc inline-3 engine producing a respectable 115 horsepower. However, it weighed a staggering 580 pounds, heavier than most sport bikes. That extra weight, combined with awkward steering dynamics, made it significantly less fun to ride than a traditional motorcycle. The front suspension felt disconnected from the road, making the ride sluggish and unnatural. Yamaha marketed the Niken as a bike for riders who wanted next-level confidence in cornering, but in reality, it delivered an underwhelming experience. Riders found it clumsy, slow, and needlessly complicated, essentially a 3-wheel experiment that nobody asked for. Sales were disappointing at best. While it's still available in some markets, the Niken has failed to gain widespread acceptance. If you want stability, just get a regular motorcycle. If you want 3 wheels, go for a trike. But if you're looking for an overpriced, confused hybrid that doesn't excel at anything, well, there's always the Niken. Number 1, Suzuki TM 400 Cyclone from 1971. Suzuki TM 400 Cyclone. Released in 1971, this legendary disaster is infamous for being as much a test of courage as it was a motorcycle. Powered by a 396cc single-cylinder, 2-stroke engine producing 41 horsepower, it looked promising on paper. In practice, however, the bike's power delivery was so abrupt that it felt more like a slap than a boost, catching even skilled riders off guard. Let's just say the transition could send you straight to the great beyond. Weighing just 219 pounds, its lightweight frame should have been an advantage, but the handling was notoriously twitchy, making stability a rare luxury. Pair that with primitive suspension and brakes that barely inspired confidence, and you had a bike that felt more like a gamble than a ride. Nicknamed the Widowmaker, it earned that title honestly, leaving behind a trail of bruised egos, and sometimes bodies. It wasn't just a motorcycle. It was a harsh reminder that engineering ambition needs a healthy dose of practicality. And that's a wrap! I've come to the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree that the bikes mentioned are so ridiculous that only a fool would buy them? What other motorcycle brands have you come across that make absolutely no sense? Mention them in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more content like this. Thanks for watching and ride safe. See you in the next one.